Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cue the Chat with Fionn Lynch. Uh, it's been a while. It certainly has been a while. Um, it's sometime in November since the last time I did a podcast. I mean, the main reason I've been here for a while, I haven't been here for a while, is because of really, you get like what, a half an hour podcast, but then I do about like I have to listen through the whole thing because what I had been doing was I had been listening out for places to put in music, listening out for parts where there's like stops or where I go, uh, well, and I kind of just had enough of that bit. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna put the music at the start and at the end, probably. It depend. It depends on the file size because I do not have much storage left on my computer. Actually, I really need to get more storage, but it depends on how long the podcast is if I can even fit it onto my laptop because like I've like what 9 gigabytes left, and if it gets much lower, it's just gonna. I have 8.5 gigabytes left, and if it gets any lower, um, the laptop might just cease to work because it's absolutely just it's slow as hell already. But we've had a lot of snooker since I was last here. I mean, it's been 3 months. Um, in my last podcast, I was like, "Oh, I'll be back during the UK Championships to have a look at more of it." That didn't happen. That's safe to say. But yeah. Today's episode, it could either be really long because we've got a lot of things to get through, or it could be very short because I've forgotten everything that's happened because it's been 3 months. But we're gonna go through all the tournaments so far. Well, since the last podcast, it's the UK Championships, the Shootout, the Scottish Open, the Saudi, what's it, what's it called? The like Riyadh Seasons Snooker Masters. I just have it on my sheet as Saudi Arabia. We've got the Championship League. A few things happened in that. We'll be going through that. We've had the Masters recently, and we're in the middle of the German Masters. I've actually got the German Masters. Neil Robertson against Hamid Mia in front of me. Um, what was Neil Robertson when I turned it on because I've been doing stuff all day. I think he won the first frame with a ton because I was watching the main Eurosport coverage of that, and whatchamacallit, he started off with a century, but he was 4-2 down when I tuned in. He's 4-3 now. He's in the balls. Yeah, we'll be talking about the German Masters. We'll also be talking about WST Play, the new service from the World Snooker Tour, replacing Matchroom Live. It's got loads of different things on it. Like what have they got? They've got replays of matches from years ago. They've got replays of matches from very recently. They've got live sport. They've got live snooker for people who are outside of regions with a broadcaster, or if you have a VPN. I did check it out. I'll be talking about it. But yeah, I did check it out yesterday. I put on a VPN. I put myself in Canada, I think, and I tuned in, and yeah, we'll be talking about that. We've also got the merger of Eurosport and TNT Sports. Of course, they're both owned by the Warner Brothers Discovery Group, and besides having two different sports channel subsidiaries, the right word? I don't know. They've decided to stick them together anyway. I'd like to say I'll be talking about the implications that it'll have, but I've absolutely no idea what the implications are. That's kind of one of the main talking points of it. We don't know what's going on, but anyway, I'll be coming to that in a few minutes. But we're gonna start off with the UK Championships, which was back in November. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. I mean, a few months ago, you wouldn't have known I was having a sip of coffee, but I ain't cutting anything because it was sucking all the enjoyment out of it. So you can listen to me drink my cup of coffee at 5 o'clock. Terrible idea, but sure, look at who needs sleep. Oh, that's good. All right, so we're gonna start off with the UK Championships, and that was won by none other than Judd Trump. I mean, it was a good final. Um, oh, I knew this would happen. I was about to say it was a good final. I mean, it was I can't remember what happened. Um, Judd Trump is leading for most of it. In fact, I don't think no Barry Hawkins did not lead once. It was always Judd Trump's really. He was what 7-5, 8-6, 9-6 up. It was going to be a tall task for Barry Hawkins to come back, and I mean, it was. He didn't come back. Uh, so I'm gonna talk through Judd Trump's road to the final. He beat Neil Robertson 6-3. That was a match that mouth-watering. Neil Robertson had to qualify. The man I'm watching on my TV right now, he had to qualify for the event. Excuse me. So I mean, what a match that got thrown out there. That was the draw was made on Judgment Day. I thought that Rob Walker was going to lose his pants. I thought he got very excited to say the least when he drew that out. Very happy indeed. But 6-3, Judd Trump, Neil Robertson coming back a bit, but I mean, and since the last podcast, he hasn't done a whole pile really. So Judd Trump beat Neil Robertson. The next player he played was John Higgins. This was another match that I was about to say it was another match where John Higgins, his opponent didn't lead, but John Higgins did actually lead 4-3 at one point. I mean, Judd Trump didn't have an easy road to this final. Let's not make any mistake about that. 6-5 against John Higgins. Well, a person who many people would class as the third best player ever. I mean, he played some fine stuff, all week, and it was no exception against John Higgins. He beat John Higgins 6-5. Zhang Anda, one of the standout players from last season. Did he win Young Player of the Year or something last season? I think there was something like that. Anyway, 6-2 he beat Zhang Anda. He went 5-0 up. I mean, yeah, there was no if he lost it from 5-0 up. I mean, fair juice to Zhang Anda, but yeah, there was 5 centuries in that match. Zhang Anda made a flat ton. But Judd Trump with a 1-3-1, a 1-2-6, and 2 120 breaks went through. All of his frames that he won seemed to be one visit, because his high breaks were 61-59 in those centuries I mentioned. So, I mean, things didn't seem to go too scrappy, from what I can see. Yeah, just looking through the frame scores, yeah, there was nothing scrappy really about it. It was just a clean performance in the quarterfinals. Now the semi-finals, I was hoping for a lot from. I mean, Judd Trump against Karen Wilson, the world number 1 playing against the reigning world champion, the world number 1 against the world number 2. Who, if it wasn't for what's his name? Ranio. Oh, Jesus Christ. I couldn't remember his name. It's been so long since I've seen him play snooker. If Ronnie O'Sullivan wasn't the number 1 seed because he won the tournament last year, these two wouldn't have been able to meet in the semi-finals because of the way the draw works out. I mean, I'm sure most of you understand how the draw works if you're listening to this niche-ass podcast, but basically what they do is they have it so that if purely like the seedings work out correctly, that seeds 1 and 4 play in the semi-finals and 2 and 3 play in the final, so that essentially the 1 and 2 seeds, who should be the 2 best players, will be playing against each other in the final. But I think it's in most tournaments, if not all tournaments. The number 1 seed is usually the winner, the defending champion. So Ronnie O'Sullivan won it in 2023. So going into the 2024 edition, he would have been the number 1 seed. So these two met in the semi-final, and a pretty sad performance from Karen Wilson. His high break is 62. I mean, come on, you know, it was fairly simple going for Judd Trump, and of course in the final, Judd Trump beat Barry Hawkins 10 frames to 8, from 9-6 up. He won that one, but just I don't know. It was just something interesting that I saw during that tournament, which stuck out in my mind. Was I think it was Michael Holt and Gary Wilson. I'm fairly sure that's who it was. They were playing in a match on table 2. I went over and had a look. I think think that was the match that Shabnam Eunice Jewell, the presenter of the Frames podcast, she's started doing great things for BBC television for the coverage. But she's been involved in snooker for years. I mean, she's been playing. She started playing in the women's tour just so that she'd get a better understanding of how it all works as a snooker player out there. I mean, she's absolutely she's doing great things. I mean, what a woman. But she was on comms with Ken Doherty. The only reason I know that because I was watching the Eurosport coverage. Well, I usually watch the Eurosport coverage. What? I'm sorry. I'm after cutting across myself here. I keep getting emails that the cue the chat at gmail.com. If you want to send any emails, you can do so on that email address. I keep getting I keep getting emails that there's been a major security breach, ever since I tried to sign in after not signing in for months on here. But yeah. Anyway, that's a sidetrack. Anyway, she's great. It was the match that her first commentary, her first go on commentary was from. It was in that match, and the black went over the left corner pocket, and then all the reds started to gather around it. I mean, like, I felt Gary Wilson maybe got a little bit nasty from my memory. I haven't written anything about it. It just popped into my head. He seemed to almost be pressuring both the referee and Michael Holt into trying to into a re-rack. He like, do you know what I mean? He really wanted a re-rack, but Michael Holt was having none of it. I was, if I remember correctly, Michael Holt was quite a bit ahead in that one. But yeah, that was just something that stuck out in my mind. I thought it was so funny how all the reds gathered over the pocket, and eventually they did have a re-rack. I can't remember who won that match, but anyway, I'm sure nobody cares that much considering neither of them did very much in the tournament. Another thing that happened actually was I don't know how up to date the people of snooker are on TikTok, but you know, being of the ilk I am, being 17 years old, I'm pretty up to date on snooker. I didn't get it until I was going to school one day and I was showing someone on the bus. I was like, how has this got like 1 million likes? What's funny about it? And basically, there's this song from Sabrina Carpenter where she goes, "Tried some freaky positions." Have you ever tried this one? You might have seen the video. Anyway, apparently when she does that, she does when she performs it live, she pretends to do a sex position. Oh, this is so weird. Anyway, she pretends to do a sex position on the stage. Anyway, and then somebody just like got that part of the song and tried some freaky positions, and it was just Chris Waitlin bent over the table trying to pot a ball. So I found it funny once I understood the joke, but I made one myself and it got nearly 1,000 likes. I think it got a good few thousand views. It got nearly 1,000 likes. Yeah. So I made one of them as well. If you want to give it a like, my TikTok's Fionn_Lynch12. I mean, there's not going to be a whole pile on there that interests you if you're sole interest to snooker. I do a bit of darts. I do some like TikTok trends, but I do like the stupid ones, and I record my friends. Like I have one where it's just like a song, and I record one of my friends like dancing with headphones on. And I have one where I just go around and just ask people if they'll do like this video. It's like 1 like equals 1 prayer. Yeah, it's like, and I also have a dart series which I kind of gave up on. I have videos recorded, but I just, again, it's the editing. I love recording them. I love doing them, but it's the bloody editing that I hate. So that's why this podcast is going to be a bit more stripped down than a bit more stripped down. They say, how far can you go? But it's going to be a bit more stripped down than other podcasts. Oh no, sorry, I'm watching the snooker, and Neil Robertson has just rattled a ball in the left hand jaw, a red. It's come across to about the black spot, hit off a red and gone into the right. Then that red has gone into the right hand corner pocket. I mean, if he wins the match from that, that is so unlucky for Hamid Mia. Um, or was it? Yeah, I do some dart stuff on there as well. So if you want to go over and give me a follow, give me a like, it'd be appreciated. But I mean, I don't expect anybody to do that because you might not enjoy it. But the video the Chris Wakeland video, I thought people might like. But anyway, I've rambled and rambled. Jesus Christ. We're gonna move on to the shootout because we have so much to get through. The shootout. Tom Ford won the shootout. Um, I was at a concert on the final day. I think I went to see Fontaines DC. Great band. If any of you haven't heard it. So I didn't actually see it, but apparently the audio just went during one of the semi-finals during the blue ball shootout. The sound went. Apparently the opponent said they just about got it back. Apparently the soundboard just blew up and they just about managed to get the sound back, the commentary back for the final, but they couldn't hear what was going on, which I thought was pretty funny. Anyway, Tom Ford won it. He beat Jing Zibao in the first. Jing Zibao in the first round, and Paul Devlin in the second round. Dwayne Jones in the third round. Oh, what a guy. Oh, I'm gonna butcher his name. I'm so sorry. Keresh Gurbayani, I think is his name. What shots he pulled out! I think it was in one of his first rounds. They were like, "Oh, we've never seen this guy. He's a new Indian player." Bang, long fought in, and then it was just he played really well. I certainly liked watching him. But Tom Ford beat him in the last 16. Then in the quarterfinals, Huang Jihao, I think. I'm very bad at pronouncing foreign names. Foreign to me anyway. Foreign names. I know this one. Wu Yiza and Tom Ford beat him in the semi-final. And then in the final he beat Liam Graham 31-28. That one was very tight. But yeah, Tom Ford won. I think it's his first ranking title. I could be mistaken. But I think he just had a bereavement. The man who's always on his, the name who's always on who's been on his waistcoat. It's gonna sound really weird, but the name is synonymous with Tom Ford in my mind, but I can't remember the man's name. Let me look up a picture of Tom Ford actually, because it has to be on there. Not the fashion designer, the snooker player. I believe that he had just died when Brian Todd. I believe Brian Todd. Had just died a couple of days before. I don't even think he was gonna go, but yeah, he managed to win and fair juiced him. So it was a difficult time for him. So well done to him. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the Scottish Open. Now we're only halfway through just the tournaments. Like we have to talk about this the Eurosport merger with TNT and WST play. So we'd want to get a bit of a wriggle on, but this is the Scottish Open. Le Pei Fan. He won on a decider in his first match against Hayden Pinney. Then 4-1 against Dominic Dale. 4-1 against Hossein Wafai. What a win. That match against Hayden Pinney, by the way, was in qualifying. I should think in the last 1-2-8, yeah. He beat Dominic Dale. He beat Hossein Wafai. Great win. 4-1 against Hossein Wafai. That's good by any player standards. He beat Sean Murphy 4-3. And I mean, Sean Murphy's been joking that everybody who beats him either at least goes on to the final, if not win the whole tournament since the start of the season. So, I mean, it happened again. I mean, you wouldn't have thought it when it happened, but yeah, Le Pei Fan beat Sean Murphy 4-3. Then he beat Stuart Bingham 4-3. Another. I think one of the forgotten greats in snooker. Stuart Bingham is one of the best players to watch in my opinion, and yeah, he's had a tough time of it over the last few seasons. But apart from that World Championship run last year, I mean, my God, that was last year, boys and girls. Yeah, but other than that, that World Championship run, in 24, what it's not been great. Then he beat Tom Ford, the shootout winner. He beat Tom Ford 5-4 in the quarterfinals. Then the semi-final against Mark Allen. I mean, he was trailing for most of that match. I mean, he went 5-2 down in a first to 6. I mean, you would not be expecting any kind of a comeback, especially when you're playing against Mark Allen. And just what a game, what a tournament, what a player. And he went on to win one of the worst finals I think I've ever watched. Not that I watched very much of it because I was in work, but yeah, it was not good from what I heard. Not good at all. He beat Wu Yi's at 9-5 in an all Chinese final. And yeah, what a player. But was something I did want to talk about was his queuing, because something that I noticed when I was watching the bit of the final that I did was his queuing. He queues like Judd Trump, where he starts on the side of the ball, and as he pushes through, he comes in to the center. I mean, I don't understand how Judd Trump does it, and then to find out there's another player who does it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like how anybody can play snooker like that. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, I might do a podcast during the off season about the way that players queue up to shots, because I mean, there's a couple. Jimmy Robertson sticks his arm out like me, like what you're like. He doesn't have his elbow tucked in. He sticks it out like me. For me, it's a bit more comfort, but and I've tried sticking it in. Don't worry, but it's just that it just doesn't work out for me. Yeah, there's a couple of people who queue up weird. I mean, you could argue that Sean Murphy queues up weird, especially when he's playing off the cushion. Like his first feather is up in the air before the cue comes down to rest on the cushion. But that's a discussion for another day, because the next thing we're going to be moving on to is the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters. Now, before we say anything about this, I think His Excellence needs a new Sparky, because the lights went out during a 167 attempt to Zhang Anda in the first session of the final. Not the first session of the final. What am I saying? The first session of the tournament. He was playing one of the Saudi wildcards, and the lights were off when they got introduced. So I was like, this is a bit strange, but sure, look at. And all the balls were like all over the place. Like usually they'd have the balls racked up by the time the players come out, but I just thought that was a bit strange to start. And then the lights went out, and we were like, ooh. And then Ken Doherty was like, they should have put 50p in the meter. And no, his laugh's more hey hey hey. It's more hey 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 than But anyway, anyway, he was like, should have put 50p in the meter, and then whatchamacallit, then it kept happening, and then all the lights in the arena went out. I mean, that was just the strangest thing. If you want to go, we're going to be, I've mentioned WST play too many times for the fact that I'm going to be I'm talking all about it later on, but if you want to go back and have a look at that match in WST play, they've actually edited it out so that it's all seamless. So you don't even know that the lights went off. But if you watch it back on the zone, I'm not even sure if it's still on there, but if you do watch it back on the zone, you can see the lights going out, and you can basically watch the 40 minutes of nothing that happened while they were trying to fix it. But yeah, so that was the start of the Saudi Arabia Masters. Nobody got $1 million this time. There was victory for Mark Allen. Mark Allen. He beat Luca Bracel 5-1 in the final. Mark Allen started off against Mark Selby. I just paused the recording there because I just noticed that the match was refereed by Kevin Dabrowski, and I was trying to remember what tournament he made that foul call on. But I thought I remember talking about it, and yeah, it was the Northern Ireland Open. But anyway, excuse me, Mark Allen against Mark Selby. Uh, Mark Selby took the opening frame, but yeah, Mark Allen seemed to take. It didn't really seem to take a stranglehold on it because he was behind for a lot of the match. Up to 2-2, he hadn't led, but then he moved away and won that one 4-2. Then against Ronnie O'Sullivan, he beat him 4-2 as well. I didn't see much of this match because the way I remember things. I remember this one was a little bit slow if I'm not mistaken, because it was a couple it was a couple of days before the local takeaway was going to be shut down forever, and we never eat takeaway food, but we went down to the takeaway because were the Christmas decorations only up or something? No. My aunt had come over to wrap my grandmother's presents for her, and I was about to put on the food, and they were like, "Oh, will we go over to the takeaway? It's gonna close." Anyway, we got burgers that day. The way my mind works, honest to God. But yeah, Mark Allen won that one 4-2, and then the final he beat Luca Bracel 5-1. Luca Bracel seems to play well in. I was about to say in Saudi Arabia, but he plays well in the Riyadh Season Snooker Championship, as we're supposed to call it, the Saudi Privilege Tournament. He played in. He. You see, this is this is the sort of stuff I'd be cutting out. Me going but I'm not cutting it out. It's not getting cut out. Luca Bracel plays well in this tournament, but he didn't play well that day because he lost 5-1. The next tournament was the Championship League in between Christmas and the Masters. I mean, it's an eventful tournament. Ronnie O'Sullivan pulled out in one of the groups in the middle of it. There was some weird stuff going on. I think I reposted a couple of things on the Cue the Chat Twitter. If you want to go over and have a look there, if anybody's still on that bloody app. There was places where he kicked the table. He smacked his cue so hard off the table. Jesus Christ. But as I heard somebody saying, I can't remember who it was, he looked vulnerable all week because he'd do something like that and then I don't know, it's like he'd realised that it was wrong. It was Dave Hendon. It's always Dave Hendon. He seemed to act and then be like, why have I done this? Do you know what I mean? Like when he smacked his cue, he apologized to Rob Milkins, who he was playing. He apologized to John Pellew, the referee, and yeah, it was just so strange, you know. In the end, you know, I'll probably know this, but he smashed up his cue, threw the bits into the toilet, then realized what he was doing was. He had another one of those moments where he's like, what am I doing? And then he went into the toilet, picked up all the pieces, put them in the bin. Then he said to his friends, I'm going. And then his friends came back and fished the bits out of the bin. Then pulled out of the Masters, which we'll come on to in a few moments. Just, what's going on? Yeah, it's just strange. It's very, very strange. But other than that, the tournament gone on without issue. One of the groups was absolutely superb. I think it was one of the ones after the Masters. It was just the amount of centuries and everything was just unbelievable. But I think this is going to sound really weird, but like the Championship League is the perfect tournament, in my opinion, right? And some people will be like, "Oh, the Championship League, I hate it so much." It's the perfect tournament for me because number one, it's on YouTube, so everyone can watch it. Like, I get internet can be an issue and things. It was an issue for me after Storm Aeon. My internet wasn't working. I couldn't watch one of the days, like any of it, like at all. I was stuck playing Block Blast and Tetris and some game where you make like metro lines all day because I couldn't do anything on my phone. But where was I going with it? Oh yeah, it's basically it starts at 11 o'clock, so it's basically like you've had your breakfast, depending what's going on in your day. If you're not working, you've had your breakfast and you're up and you're ready to watch the snooker. You can watch that then up until when Shamler takes a break. You can do a few things and then you can settle in. You can have a bit of dinner while you're watching it, and it's all over in time for the soaps. I mean, what a tournament! Short matches. So if there's a match you don't like, there's another one coming up soon. And if there's a match you do like, I mean, it's not like you're gonna have to give up a lot of your day to watch it. It's not that kind of tournament. You know what I mean? So I just think it's a great tournament. This chair's creaking like hell. I hope you can't hear. Yeah, you can definitely hear it. Anyway, yeah, it's just the perfect tournament, man. It's just if they get a crowd in, it's a brilliant tournament. Yeah, but anyway, so the groups there were pretty good. This was after the Masters, but we're just on the topic of the Championship League, because the Championship League, they just fit it in wherever they can, you know. Whatchamacallit, Jack Jones pulled out. I mean, he played in every group. He smashed the record for the most centuries in a single tournament. Looking up the Championship League to see who qualified. Championship League, not Champions League. Again, I would have caught this out. Like the way I would have caught it before is I would have left in a bit, but like there was times that I'd be doing this for like 4 or 5 minutes, just looking through stuff. Anyway, we'll have a look here to see who's. But yeah, Jack Jones, he pulled out. I think his wife's pregnant, so it could have been something to do with that. But we don't actually know. But the people who have qualified are Hossein Vafai. He qualified first week. Then Sijia Hui, Karen Wilson, Mark Selby, Matthew Melt. We'll have to get on to him. Matthew Selt, De Trump, and Zhao Gudong. Yeah, I mean it's going to be an exciting group, to say the least. Plenty of big names in there. I mean, the only non-top 16 players I think in here are Hossein Vafai, who's a proven winner, and Matthew Selt, who's a proven moaner. Do you know what? I'm just gonna get onto it now. I'm sure everybody's seen by now that video of what's his name? Oh my god, it's not Anthony Kowalski. It's 1 second. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll pause it so you don't have to listen to 4 minutes of me typing on a laptop. 1 second. So I was against Artemis Zizins. I should have known that, but I'm just gonna play you what everyone heard when that was going on, because it was just mental. Just have a little listen to this.
Oh my god! 63.
Here he throws a towel at a table.
Nice. That's the game. That's the game.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just a young boy who I was about to say he made a mistake. He didn't even really make a mistake. Like, what's he meant to do about it? But I just thought his reaction was a little bit disrespectful in my view. But yeah, so that was excuse me, the Championship League and Matthew Selt's meltdown. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. Like, you can't, as an elder statesman of the tour, you cannot be reacting like that. Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like, you cannot. Like it's one thing if you're brand new to the tour, you don't really understand the etiquette of it, but you know, it's just It's just a bit it's unacceptable. All right, so we finally move on to the Masters, the most recent completed tournament. That was won by Sean the Magician Murphy. I love saying his name like that. Sorry. He had a fairly easy time of it. In the first match, Gary Wilson. Not his debut at the Masters, but his first time at the Alexandra Palace, because he played in lockdown. I think he was a top up as well, because Jack Lazowski and Judd Trump both got COVID. I think he was a top up in that event. But yeah, he didn't turn up. 4-0 down at the interval. He brought it back to 4-3. In all fairness to him, he did bring it back to 4-3, but then Sean Murphy really kicked on and won it 6-3. Decent win for Sean Murphy, but Gary Wilson wasn't there for most of the match, and yeah, there's not a whole pile to analyze there. Just wasn't wasn't at the races. Sean Murphy then played against Neil Robertson, who he beat 6-2. Rocketed home really from 4-1. He lost the next frame, but it was 4-2, 5-2, 6-2. Sean just played exceptionally well in that match. Neil Robertson, excuse me, didn't do much wrong. Really, did not do much wrong. He just came up against an unstoppable Sean Murphy, who almost made a maximum in that final frame. I'm sure most of you have seen it on the final black. Not the final black, but the final black before the colours. He snookered himself. He just played deep screw, but didn't screw very deep and landed right in behind the blue snooker on himself. But he made up for it in his next match, because Sean Murphy played against Mark Allen in the semi-finals. He made a maximum break. He made a maximum break. Yeah, but I mean, majestic break. I mean, celebrating before it even went in. He said in his own podcast that that was just it was just sheer release. He didn't even realize he was doing it until he was doing it, and yeah, it was just. It was great to see, because he was playing well all week, and then he just really. Where are my words gone, man? He was sorry. He was playing well all week. He almost had that maximum, and then it was great to see him have another one in the semi-final against Mark Allen. He beat Mark Allen 6-3 with a 1-4-7. He was 2-0 down, and from there he kicked on. He lost the third last frame after that, but other than that, it was almost consecutive up until that point. So well done to Sean Murphy in that match. And then he came up against a Kyron Wilson, who saying didn't come to the races I think would be a fair assessment. But at the same time, Sean Murphy, oh my days, what it was just an exceptional week. I'm just gonna be saying the same things over and over for every match. But what a week for the man. He played absolutely out of his skin. 6-2 at the break. Just brilliant snooker. I mean, I'd love to go into deep analysis, but there's no deep analysis to go into. He played very well. I mean, there is a small bit. He did start working with Peter Ebdon at the UK Championships, and what he's been focusing on recently is staying down on the shots until the balls go into the pockets, and it seems to be working for him. He looked steely, he looked fiery. Didn't take his eyes off the table whether he was playing or not. No distractions, just bet into the snooker. And what a match he played in the Masters. Even what a match he played in the final of the Masters. What a match. What a tournament he played. Now, we're gonna move on to the German Masters. I mean, it's the tournament that's going on at the moment. I'm watching it as we speak, and there's a bit of almost controversial moment, I suppose, where Neil Robertson was down on a shot and he just skimmed, like, when I say skimmed, I mean skimmed a ball with his sleeve, and he didn't seem to believe Marcel Eckhart when Marcel told him, but yeah, Hamid Mia is trailing by 6 points. He's at the table with 2 reds left. We should have the result of that match before the end of the podcast. But yeah, it's been a good week. I mean, I've been watching the outside tables quite a bit. One match that I watched a decent bit of was Gary Wilson against Daniel Wells. Whatchamacallit. There was kind of a frame in there where it was almost like the frame I was talking about in the UK Championships, where the black went over the pocket and all the reds went around. Now it was just the brown, but it was so close to that black that it was such a difficult like, so difficult not to pot the black, and it wasn't until the brown actually left from around the black that Daniel Wells screwed the cue ball right back into it, and he lost the frame. But yeah, it's been a good tournament. I really like the staging of it. The tables like all surrounding the one main table, and the broadcast angle. I like to talk about this. The main TV angle facing down. It's brilliant. I mean, on the main table, it's very shallow. Up here, it's like you can see the whole table. It really show, like, you can see how big a snooker table is, because until I started playing snooker, like, you don't understand how big like 12 feet is when you're down trying to hit that cue ball. It's ridiculous, but I like the angle for the outside tables, and yeah, the inside table, not so much, but we've had some good matches. We've had some withdrawals. Yeah, was it O'Sullivan, Ding Junhui, and Hossein Vafai, I think. God, when we were talking about the Masters, I didn't even talk about Ronnie O'Sullivan pulling out. After he smashed up his cue, he pulled out of the Masters. That's all I'm gonna talk about there. But yeah. I mean, it's a good tournament. It's one of my favorite. It's in my top 5, I think. I think the Triple Crown has to be in there, all 3 of them. Northern Ireland and this one, just because of the staging, the setting. One thing that I was thinking about in the shower last night, the things I think about in the shower, is about the way the sessions are broken up. I mean, you could definitely play 4 matches on a table in a session in a day, because some of the matches, like the one I'm watching now, it's going into its 4th hour. But I mean, if you allocated 3 hours a match with an hour break, I mean, if you start at 9 o'clock, you finish at 10 or maybe 11. Like, you could definitely do an afternoon session. You see, I haven't thought this through, really. Like, surely you could start at maybe 11, go on till 5. Some of the tables will be finished earlier, some of them will be finished later. Then start about 6:30 and go on and be finished hopefully about 11:30, maybe 12 o'clock. But I just feel like with a lot of it, it feels like we're missing out on snooker. Do you know what I mean? Because a best of 5, or no, sorry, a first of 5. It's not really like that much more than a best of 9 isn't that much more than a best of 7, really. Like, and they managed to fit 2 best of 7s inside in that one in one session. I mean, they get 5 matches done there in a day. Why can't they do 4 here? It is only 1 extra frame. Like, if you add that up across 4 matches, that's only 1 extra match. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like we could get more bang for our snooker. Like, with the 7 tables, I mean, you could definitely, like, do that and take out qualifiers. I mean, I know that's not very ergonomic, I suppose, for the players, because 128 people heading out to Germany probably isn't ideal for all of them. But it's an idea. I'll put it out there. Whether people like it or not, I don't know. Snooze, cue the chat at gmail.com to get your thoughts in on that, and your thoughts in on anything that we're talking about this, let's say this week, this quarter on the podcast. Get in your views. Right, so we're going to move on to talking about WST Play. Now, this is the new service that is going to be replacing Matchroom Live for people outside of places with a broadcaster. I tried it out last night. I paid for a VPN anyway, so I just threw it on, and I turned on the VPN and I put on WST Play, and I mean it works really well. I opened it up. It's the same commentary as it is on Eurosport and on Discovery Plus and all that crap. So even during like the it's the host broadcaster, which for the most part is Eurosport. So like, whatchamacallit, in the match that I was watching, it was the one Aaron Hill versus Mark Williams. Like they refer to graphics which aren't on the screen essentially, because they're only taking the commentary, but the commentary is basically the presentation of the thing as well. So they're referring to graphics that aren't there, but there's nothing that can be done about that, because they're already going to live edit the commentary, and you can't be expecting Eurosport graphics on the world feed. Like, that's just not how it works. But like during the mid-session, they were doing commentary on table 2. I mean, you were just listening to commentary at table 2 while just watching like just a video of the general area, just watching a video of the arena, which I thought was kind of funny. But it works very well, the live stuff. Anyway, I had a look at all the tables. You can watch all 4 tables. Well, not all 4 tables. You can watch 4 tables on there. That's the way that it's the same on Discovery Plus. You can't watch all the tables, but you can watch 4 tables. And yeah, it works really well. The live stuff works really well. Anyway, I'll just go through it with you. So they've got 147s. I believe all the 147s are free. I'll go have a quick look. I believe you can watch all of the 147s for free. I mean, there's so many of them. I'd say there must be every 147. Every recorded 147 in history must be on here. Although between 2022, they have Neil Robertson, Jack Lazowski. Then it goes 2020, Kurt Mafflin versus John Higgins. Then you jump down to 2015, then 2014, 2013. So it must only be a limited number. But all the 147s that they have on here, like they have they have the fastest ever in '97 against Mick Price. They have Jimmy White, and Jimmy White's one against Tony Drago. Yeah, they have a load of 147s. They're all for free, so you just have to have an account. And then they have the archive, which is basically just everything. So they've got a lot of stuff from the Australian Open from 2015, yeah, it's all from 2015, is it? Or is there more? There might be more later on. They have a lot of quality stuff. So there's a lot of archived footage, basically anything they could get. Like they have Indian Open here, or Australian Open. They've got China Open. They've got loads and loads of stuff. And then as you move through the categories, like they've got the British Open. That's all of the matches from this year's British Open. I don't believe they have anything from last season. I'll double check, but as far as I'm aware, so basically how it's going to be yeah, it's only from this season. But how it's going to work is basically once a match has been streamed, for people who are able to watch it live on here, it's going to be there straight away. And for people who have broadcasters, it's going to be 30 days before it goes up. So after a month, basically, and they're going to store everything on here. WST own the rights to all of their content now, so it's all going to be up here. German Masters, actually, after putting up so much stuff, like you've got all of the they've got winning interviews here. The interviews are free as well, but they have yeah, they seem to have tables 1 and 2. It seems to be that they're uploading, um, and they've got a load of other stuff. And I'm still going through round 1. 1 second, like they've got the qualifiers as well. And I was watching. It must have been the first one in 2011. Williams versus Selby. I watched the end of that actually the other day. That was a pretty good match. The one where Mark Williams hides the cue ball in his pocket while the referee has to put all the balls back. So they've got like the English Open, German Masters, International Championships. All the interviews are free. They've got a load of interviews. The Masters, they have all the stuff from this year and a good bit from, or they have a bit from a few years ago. Like, they said they're going to keep adding more, but not everything's on here. The Northern Ireland Open, Players Championship. Is there anything even in here actually in the Players Championship? No. So some of the tournaments that haven't happened, they haven't got anything because they don't own the rights to the stuff that's happened in the past, and there hasn't in the Players Championship yet this season. The 167 event, the Riyadh, the elitist event in Riyadh. Then they've got all of Ronnie O'Sullivan's Triple Crown wins. So this is, it's like, so I mean, this is what you want to start off with, isn't it? So some of the matches that you have on here are abridged a bit, but I think most of these anyway are aren't, but like, you know, like there's a 10-hour World Championship final on here, so that one definitely isn't abridged. The one against Judd Trump the other year, but I mean a World Championship final like that. What I'm trying to say is basically some of these cannot be full matches. I think all the Ronnie O'Sullivan ones are, but a lot of the matches are abridged. The old ones anyway. Like I was watching Pop Black, one of the tournaments, the Pop Black tournaments. That was pretty good. They've got Saudi Arabia Masters, Scottish, Shanghai Shootout, Tour Championship, UK Championship, World Championship. They've got a lot of actually stuff from the World Championship. Well, I say a lot. They've got 19 things. They've got 4 sessions of this year's World Final. They've got the 22 final, the 20 final, the 14 final, the 14 semi-final. Both of them. I'd say they're... Yeah, I think these 3 are all abridged because they're all about 3 hours. And like O'Sullivan versus Sean Murphy 2014 quarter-final in the World Championship. An hour and a half, yeah, that has to be abridged. But yeah, they've got a lot of good stuff on here. Do you know what I mean? They've got a lot of decent stuff. So yeah, I've subscribed anyway. I'm gonna stay subscribed because watching through these things are great. And yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm after losing my train of thought because I got a text. Yeah, this and a VPN could actually be where a lot of snooker fans end up, because Eurosport and Discovery, or Eurosport and TNT Sport, are both merging together to become one channel. This is in the UK and Ireland, so like this doesn't really affect anybody else, but this is where a lot of fans are watching from. So I mean, it's big news, especially for a lot of my fan base. Anyway, if I say fan base, Jesus Christ, follow myself much. The people who listen to this, a lot of them are from the UK and Ireland. So yeah, the 2 channels are merging together to become one channel. So the snooker is going to be on TNT Sports, the cycling, the winter sports, everything is going to be on Discovery Plus. And the problem with that is, at the moment, snooker's free, with ads, table 1 on Eurosport, and if you want all the rest of the tables, I think I pay €7. I think it's $6.99. So cheap as chips. I mean, I'd pay that for the rest of my life. But now, with the merger, £31. Let that sink in. £30.99 for Discovery Plus. You're going to drive people away. That is for sure. You are going to drive people away from the sport. Like, I've heard so many people saying, "Oh, looks like it's only the Triple Crowns and the few ITV tournaments for me," because, like, do you know, it's expensive in this economy. It's expensive, man. I was having a look at an article from the Irish Sun. It says, Warner Brother Discovery's merger plans only apply to the UK and Ireland. Now, the thing really that's getting me, look, if push comes to shove, fuck it, man. I'll pay the money. I'm like, snooker's a big part of my life. Do you know what I mean? I'll pay for it. But you see, in Ireland, you can't get TNT Sports on Discovery Plus. You can in the UK. You can't in Ireland. So how in the name of Jesus Christ am I meant to watch all the tables? Like, am I going to be stuck watching one table? Basically, the Eurosport coverage, what it is now. Am I going to be stuck watching just one table? Like, I can't load up Discovery Plus and watch all the Champions League matches like you can in the UK, which is fine. I'm not a huge soccer guy. I like it. It's fine. Like, I'll just watch whatever's on. That's fine. Like, but like, you know, once it gets past TNT Sports 4, which you know, sometimes they have TNT Sports 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm not gonna be able to watch any of that if they don't change it. Like, Brian McGovern, if you're still here after all these months, what are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do? Because £31 is fucking ridiculous for something that we're getting for free at the moment. How are you expecting somebody to go from paying nothing to £31? Like, come off it. There's gonna be some people this doesn't affect, like, you're paying for the TNT Sports already, whatever, you know. You're probably like, hallelujah. But, you know, I don't get it. You know, I get wanting to have your sports channels all with the same name, under the same umbrella. But, like, stop charging me 31 quid. Like, come off it. Like, when I saw it first, I was like, oh, cool, they're doing what Premier Sports used to do back in the day when they had the Championship League, was Premier Sports and Free Sports. I thought they were just gonna, you know, I thought they were just gonna have, like, a couple of free channels, essentially. So that's how I thought it was gonna work. But, like, people aren't gonna pay 31 quid for snooker. This could be oh, this could be the down. I don't want to say it, man. This could be the downfall of watching snooker on the TV. It could be the downfall of snooker's popularity in this part of the world, because, like, how, like, this is just so stupid. Like, this is so thick. I don't even know what to say about it. Like, it's you know, like, I think that a lot of people are going to be hopping on the dodgy box. I mean, I was gonna say, oh, I don't condone it. Fucking, if you're gonna make me pay 31 quid for something I had for free, go on the dodgy box, boys. Like, how are you expecting me to pay this? Oh my god. Like, £31 a year. There I go. 31 times 12 is £372 a year. Now, £372 to euro. You want me to pay €444.18 for something that the premium version I was paying 70 quid a year for? Are you taking the fucking piss? What? Dodgy box it is. Like, I don't understand. I honestly don't get it. Like, we're not a premium sport. Like, we're just, like, the production value would want to go up fairly heftily, you know. Like, if we don't have studio coverage at every tournament, and we're expected to pay £31. Like I actually, uh, I'm actually going to have to just. I'm going to be watching on WST Play, man, with my VPN, because this is this, this is disgraceful. Is what I'll say. And I'll say no more because I'm getting myself in a bit of a. Uh, I just look. We'll leave it off. So yeah, that's all I have to say. If I come up with something else, I'll be back. I won't give you a date because I did last time and I didn't come back for 3 months. But thank you so much for listening. I've decided I'm not even going to put in the music. You can imagine the music. I'll do the music for you. I'll hum it myself. At the end. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you've come back after all this time, I really appreciate it. Please send me an emails. I just want emails. I don't care about listener about like figures like figures aren't a big thing for me. I like the fan engagement. Like that's my favorite thing about Dave Hennon's podcast. He has people sending him emails. Like that's just the coolest thing. Do you know what I mean? So if any of you want to send me emails, DM me on. I don't know. Can you DM me on TikTok still? I'm gonna have to check that. But definitely Instagram. Instagram is where I'd be most active if you want to send me something on social media. But it's cuethechat@gmail.com. cuethechat@gmail.com. Just send me anything. Absolutely anything. I don't care. Send me an invoice. I'll take it. Yeah, that's the end of that. Thank you so much for coming back. Or if you're new, welcome aboard. Yeah, we'll see you in a while. It's been great. Yeah, we'll see you later. Adios. I'll do the music now. Dun 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 dun. Might edit that out. I might have to do some editing to get rid of that. Anyway, adios. Sayonara.